We should be identifying the seasons that we are in. And we should be acting accordingly.
Ending is coming.
To what seasons we are in.
The ending is coming and time is still running, but these people do not believe. How should time love it when our people cover? We making his jobs a bit easy. They trading their soul for little to nothing. Tell me if you even need it. Some of these people just greedy. What about feeding the needy? I feel the ruach in my chest like it's treasure. Not a treasure chest, but in my chest there's a treasure. I'm a vessel. Spread repentance every time I shift a level. I got several. You ain't gotta sneeze for me to bless you. Guess I'm special. Father, protect us. Your mercy is precious. Do not neglect us. Reading through asterisk. Your word is a sword. I'm swinging my weapon. This is the spirit. Nothing for people to question. This not a lesson. This is my blessing. That money mean nothing. Like a recession. What do you think I invest in? Y'all really be wildin'. You don't impress me. For the most high, I be zealous. I promise I'm riding like an equestrian. No matter what mess I'm in, he never forsake me. I give him reverence. Tell him don't mess with him. Want my anointing? You gotta catch me then. Angels be my friend. The book of life, I tell them etch me in. We are the tribes. I call them Issachar. Y'all call them Mexicans. Open your eyes. You're from Judah. You're not American. We beating them by a lot. Stop the confusion. We about to bury the ending is coming and time is still running, but these people do not believe.
Show me, Father, and show the people today, Father.
They trading their soul for little to nothing. Tell me if you even need it.
Who the Holy Spirit is.
Shalawam, shalawam, shalawam. All praises be to the Most High Yahweh Allah, the Allah of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the Allah of Israel, or the 12 tribes of Israel. Salaki of 12 tribes of Israel. What a beautiful, beautiful song. Hey, I also want to say, we give much love to our King, his only begotten Son, Hamashiach Yahushai. Without him coming and opening the seals, without him being worthy, without him, it's almost impossible. It is impossible because he was the only one that was chosen worthy. Just like in the book of Revelations, when John started to cry, the elder told him and he said, don't weep, for the Lamb of Judah, the Lamb that was slain of Judah, of the offshoot of David. So listen, we want to give all praises again to the Most High Yahweh. Forgive me for that rant, but I just had to get that out. We got a beautiful one here today. Oh, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share. Also, I want to say, the water for everybody tuning in, the water for all Malogs tuning in, and all the Aquas tuning in. The water, once again, in the English, that's thank you. So we got a beautiful one today. We're going to get started. We're going to dive right into it. I'm not going to hold you long. This one is going to be about discernment, right? And this is why I played that song, because people are giving their souls away for no reason, for nothing. It's not even worth anything here. And we have to continue to discern as we move along in this world. This is our journey. We're in the matrix, we're sojourning here. And that's just what we have to do. We have to discern the times. That's why I played that song. So let's get right into it. This is James, right? And this is why I wanted to start it off in the New Testament to show you that this is what's still going on then and even to today, right? So in James, the book of James, chapter 2, it said a sin of partiality, right? My brethren, have not the faith of the Master, Yahushua Mashiach, right? The Master of glory, who respects a person, right? You shouldn't have respect of person. For if there come unto your assembly a man with a gold ring in a goodly apparel, and there come also a poor man in a vile raiment, and ye respect to him that weareth the gay clothing, and say unto him, sit thou here in a good place, and say to the poor, stand thou there, or sit here under my footstool. Are you not then partial in yourselves, and are become judges of evil thoughts? Right? And that goes on today. Right now, you have somebody pull up in a Phantom with all of the bling on, and things like that, Gucci'd out or whatever, the Balenciaga, whatever's going on today, right? They're going to be treated a certain way as opposed to a man that doesn't pull up in any kind of car or walks up and he has basically rags on, They may not even let him in, right? They might just tell him to stay on the outside. We'll bring you whatever you're trying to order or whatever it is that you want. Verse 5, it says, "Hearken, my beloved brethren, have not Elohim chosen the poor of this world, rich in faith and heirs of the kingdom, which he hath promised to them that love him." See, Elohim chose the poor, but yet the world chooses the rich. Here we go. "But ye have despised the poor." That's what I'm saying. They won't even let them in. I've seen it, right? And I've heard it from my own family, through my kids and my wife, right? "But ye have despised the poor. Do not the rich oppress you?" Yes, they do. Every day they oppress us. "And draw you before judgment seats?" Yes, they do. "Do not they blaspheme the worthy name by which ye are called?" Yes, they do. Every day they blaspheme the name, right? So this is what James is trying to show us, that the rich are evil. And you shouldn't have that same kind of thought as the way they think, right? "If ye fulfill the royal law according to the scriptures, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself, you do well." Once again, James is talking about the law, right? For those people that say that the law is done away with, right? James just said, if ye fulfill the royal law, which is the Mosaic law, according to the scriptures, thou shalt love thy neighbor, right, as thyself, you do well, right? "But if you respect to persons, you commit sin." So if you treat the rich man or the one who has on the goodly apparel, or as the Bible just said, that gay apparel, right, and you treat him different than the poor man that shows up, he's saying that that's sin. So people sin every day without even realizing that and I say that we are sinning, because in this world that we living in, you know, you see the nice things, and as soon as you see the nice things, you just automatically treat that person a certain way. It is hard for people not to treat people a certain way because of the things that they have. This is why they shoot things all the time talking about gold diggers or sugar babies, or because of what people have, right? So anyway, he says you commit sin, and they're what? And are convinced of the law of transgressors, right? "For whoever shall keep the whole law and yet offend in one point, he is guilty of all." So it's just letting you know that you have sinned, and now you're going to be guilty of all the law. So I'm not going to stay in this for a long time, because you can continue to read for yourself if you have never read James. But, you know, because this one starts going into committing adultery and being a transgressor of the law and be judged of the law of the freedom. So I'm going to go to the book of Psalms now. That's where I want to go. Psalms. Unjust judgments and rebuke, right? "Elohim standeth in the congregation of the mighty. He judgeth among the Elohims," right? Verse 2, "How long will ye judge unjustly and accept the persons of the wicked?" So he's judging. Let's get what discernment is. Discernment, the definition: the ability to judge well, right? That's
Discernment.
That's what discernment is. It's the ability to judge well. The perception of and the absence of judgment with a view of obtaining spiritual guidance and understanding. What is the true meaning of discernment? The quality of being able to grasp and comprehend what is obscure, skill in discerning, an act of perceiving and discerning something, right? So basically, as it says, the ability to judge well. And we know that this world is not, it doesn't have the ability to judge well. So this is what the Bible is talking about back in Psalms 82, right? In verse 2. Let's go to verse 3. Defend the poor and the fatherless. Do justice to the afflicted and needy. Deliver the poor and needy. Deliver them from being poor. Help them and the needy. Whatever they need, help them. Rid them out of the hand of the wicked. The reason they being oppressed and they poor and they needy a lot of times is because they're being oppressed by the wicked one, right? Whether it be drugs, alcohol, whatever it is, some type of disease, all of these things come from the wicked one, right? How do we know this? Because in the book of Job, what happened? It said it had a hedge around him, but the Most High said, go ahead, do everything you want to do to him, but don't kill him. We know Job, kids died. We know Job got boils. We know houses fell on top of his kids and killed him. He was sick. He laid in the bed. He was covered in all of these things. Even his wife said, curse the Most High and die, or curse Allahayam and die, right? But he never gave in to Hasatan actions of the things that he was putting on him, the sickness that he was putting on him. Verse 5, it says, they know not, neither will they understand, right? The wicked, they don't know. They don't understand these things that we're speaking and the things that we're talking about from the scriptures right now. They know not, neither will they understand, right? You have people that you try to explain the Bible to and they just don't understand it, or try to explain the word of the gospel to. They just don't understand it because they're not on the same frequency as us. They don't have the same awakening as we do, right? So if you listening to this and you hear this, you know, you on a different frequency and a different awakening path of being chosen and predestined to and have understanding to hear the words of the Most High, right? They know not, neither will they understand. They walk on in what? Darkness. All the foundations of the earth are out of course, right? Why are they out of course? Job 9:24, because the earth has been given into the hands of the wicked, right? So we know that this is why it's out of course, because why? The fall of man from Genesis. We're going to get into that, right? And then it says, I have said, ye are who? Elohayams, and all of you are the children of the Most High. Now, this is a very controversial thing right here. This is where people go to, and it says that we are Elohayams, we are gods, right? This is what everybody goes to in the Old Testament in the book of Psalms to say we are Elohayams, right? And actually, this was quoted by Yahushua when he was in the book of John, chapter 10, verses 31 through 34, or 31 on down. You can get that. Psalms 82:7. But ye shall die like men. So even though we're Elohayams, we're going to die like men. Why? Because our people, our ancestors ate from that fruit of the tree, right? The tree of knowledge, and fall like one of the princes. Arise, O Elohayam, judge the earth. Salakia. Arise, O Elohayam, judge the earth, for thou shalt inherit all nations, right? You're going to inherit all nations. So let's go get that fall, right? Where he talking about ye are Elohayams, right? Once again, if you want to see where this is talking about in the New Testament, is John. Actually, let me just pull it real quick. Somebody will say, oh, I didn't find it. John 10. I'm going to just pull it right quick and then we'll go to Genesis. John 10 and 31, I said, right? The Jews took up stones to stone him. Yahushua answered them, many good works have I showed you from my Father. For which of those works do you stone me? And the Jews answered him, saying, for a good work we stone thee not, but for the blasphemy, and because thou being a man maketh thyself Elohayam. And here it is. Yahushua answered them, is it not written in your law, which is in Psalms 82:6, I said ye are Elohayams. If ye called them Elohayams, unto whom the word Elohayam came, and the scriptures cannot be broken. So that's what it's talking about right here. Psalms 82:6. John 10 and 34 is referring to Psalms 82:6. Okay, let's get Genesis. Let's move on to the fall of man, right? Let's go to Genesis 2. The creation of man and woman, right? Creation of man and woman. And everybody should have read Genesis, so I don't need to say go back and read Genesis. If you have not read Genesis, please go back and read it. I guess I have to say it. And it says right here, this is the fall of man. And Yahweh Elohim formed the man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils. Let me get a drink of water. Hold on. Salakia. And breathed into his nostrils the breath of life. And man became a living soul. And Yahweh Elohim planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed. Right? That he did. And out of the ground made Yahweh Elohim to grow every tree that is pleasant to his sight and good for food. The tree of life also in the midst of the garden. Here we go. And the tree of knowledge of good and evil. This is the discernment. How do we know this? If we click this word, let me make this a little smaller. If we click this word, this is Genesis 2 and 9, right? And then I'm going to go to the Hebrew so you can see it. But if we click this word, I think it's knowledge, right? Let me see. The tree of knowledge, right? H 1847.
Strong's H 1847. Da'ath.
Right. See, it says knowledge. Knowledge, perception, skill, discernment, understanding, wisdom. Right? So that's what we're cunning, right? That's what this knowledge is. That we was not supposed to eat from. Do not eat from the tree of what? Knowledge of good and evil, discernment, understanding, wisdom. We were not supposed to eat from this tree. We were commanded not to eat from this tree, right? Genesis 9, right? This is the tree. You're going to say, well, it didn't say nothing about the command right here. Let's jump down, right? And then we're going to go bring all this in the swing, right? We're going to jump down to 15. And Yahweh Elohim took the man and put him into the garden of Eden to dress it and to keep it. And Yahweh Elohim commanded the man. See, commanded the man right here. Commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden thou mayest eat it freely. But of the tree of what? Knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat of. Shalt not eat of it. So we were not supposed to eat of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, right? The discernment, right? But let's get it in the Hebrew. I got it pulled up right here already. So this is the Genesis chapter 2. This is just in English, but with the Hebrew next to it, so you can have a better understanding. So right here again, we were in verse 7 to start, Genesis 2 and 7. And it says right here, and Yahweh Elohim molded the human of dirt from the ground, and he exhaled in his nostrils a breath of life, and the human existed for a living soul. Right here, and it says, verse 8, and Yahweh Elohim planted a garden in Eden from the east, and placed there a human which he molded, Salakia, right? Verse 9, this is what I really want. And Yahweh Elohim made all the trees spring up from the ground to be a craving for appearance and functional and for nourishment, and a tree, Salakia, and the tree of life in the midst of the garden, and the tree of what? Discernment. See? That tree of knowledge is really called that tree of discernment, right? And it says what? Functional and dysfunctional. Functional is good. Why is it good? Because it says fulfilling the action of which a person or a thing is specifically fitted or used, or for which a thing exists, right? The functioning for within it is intended purpose, right? So it's functional, right? Dysfunctional is what? Let's get it. The abnormal action of other than that which for which a person or thing is intended, something that does not function within its intended purpose, right? Something that does not function with its intended purpose. We were not created to be evil. We were not created to commit sin. We were not created to go against our Father Yahweh Allah wishes, right? We were not created for that. We were created to be functional. But since we ate of this tree of discernment, which is this tree of knowledge, right? The quality of being able to grasp, which people don't have, the quality of being able to grasp and comprehend what is obscure. Remember, I read that in the definition earlier, right? The concept, the idea or concept of knowledge, right? So that's why I wanted to get that to show you, even in the scriptures in the Hebrew, it's telling you that that tree of knowledge is really the tree of discernment, right? Of what is functional and dysfunctional, or what is good or what is evil, right? Let's go down to verse 15. Verse 15, and it says, and Yahweh Elohim took the human and deposited him in the Garden of Eden to serve her and to what? Safeguard. We were supposed to be safeguarding Eden. To act or the duty of protecting. So we were supposed to be protecting the garden, or defending, to watch over or guard, to keep watch. We had a job to do. We had a job to do in the garden. Our job was to protect the garden, protect everything that was in the garden, right? To safe watch it, to keep watch over, right? And Yahweh Elohim directed upon the human, saying, for all the trees of the garden you will surely eat, right? Meaning you can fraternize, as you want to put it, if you want to put it like that. You can deal with the trees. You can deal with it. I know a lot of people gonna say the trees have to deal with people. There wasn't so much the trees of that we see now today, that it was actually, it's a representation of people that was in the garden and different things like that. Hey, however you look at it, I'm not knocking you if you look at it one way or the other. Me personally, I do believe it was other people there, because as it just said, that he had to protect it. What are you protecting? You're protecting these spirits, or these trees, or these things that are in the garden from something that should not be there, right? On the outside realm, right? Because in order to protect something, you want to protect it from what? Something that's on the outside. Because if there's nothing there, why do you need to protect it? It's like if there was no evil in the earth, why do we need home alarms? Why do you need a car alarm? Why do people need to carry guns to protect themselves if there was no evil and there was no war, it was no wickedness in the earth? You wouldn't need these things to protect you, or protect your home or your car. You wouldn't need it. But if it's evil present and wickedness present, then you need to protect yourself from that. So Adam's job was to protect the garden, right? Anyway, verse 17. But from the tree of what? Discernment, once again, the tree of discernment, right? And this is what I'm saying. A lot of people today, this is why I wanted to bring this out, and I'm not going to drag it out, but a lot of people today, even then, from Genesis all the way to Revelation, all the way to today, 2023, we don't have discernment as we should have, of function and dysfunction, right? This is why we need to know the scriptures to have understanding of what is functional and what is dysfunctional. Because if we use our mind and our heart, it's that the Bible says that our heart is deceitfully wicked, right? Who can know it? So it's all dysfunction in our heart. And if we live by our heart and our mind, we will constantly be in dysfunction. The only way we will get back to functional is if we listen to the words of the Most High, right? That is the only way. This is why he told us, don't eat from this thing. This is why he commanded Adam not to eat from this. Listen to this. But from the tree of discernment of function and dysfunction, you will not eat from him. Given that in the day you eat from him, you will surely die. And of course, we all know that the woman and the man did eat. I'm going to get that too. And we know from this point even to today that all human beings what? Die. Right? Because what? Their discernment is off. And they have lived in what? Dysfunction. How do we know this? Because let me get this. Let me pull this real quick. What is this? I believe it's 623. Here it is. This is what we get paid, right? This is what we get paid. This is Romans 6:23, right? And it says, for the wages of sin is death, but the gift of Elohim is eternal life through Yahushua Mashiach, our master. For the wages is what you're getting paid back. Just like when you go to work Monday through Friday for those 40 hours, they give you wages at the end of the week or every 2 weeks or however you get paid. So the Most High is paying you back your wages for sin, right? From sin. What is sin? The dysfunction, right? You're not doing what the action, what it say again? An abnormal action other than that which a person or thing was intended. Something that does not function with its intended purpose. We were not made to sin. This is why we were told, don't eat from this tree of discernment, right? Of good and evil, functional, dysfunctional. Hopefully I showed that, right? So you can actually see that the tree of knowledge was actually called the tree of discernment, which shouldn't be a big thing. People should clearly understand that because it's in the Blue Letter Bible too. And functional and dysfunctional, right? Now, let's jump over to chapter 3. Let's go to chapter 3 real quick, and then we'll wrap it up. This is Genesis 3, right? And here it is. This is what Adam was supposed to be protecting from, right? What? This serpent. And it says, and the serpent had existed as a subtile one more than all other living ones of the field. We know the field is the world, which Yahweh Elohim had made. And he said to the woman, did Elohim really say? Listen, here he is. This is what Adam should have been protecting right here and there, right? And it said, the serpent said what? Did Elohim really say, you will not eat from all of the trees of the garden? And the woman said to the serpent, from the produce of the trees of the garden, we can eat, or we eat, right? So we can eat from everything else. We can eat from everything in the garden. But from the produce of the tree, which is in the midst of the garden, Elohim said, you will not eat from him, and you will not touch him. Otherwise, you will die. So not only could they not eat it, they couldn't even touch it. And the serpent said to the woman, you shall certainly not die. So what is that doing? Not only is it going against the words of the Most High, he's basically defining what the Most High said is not true, right? He's basically saying that the Most High is a liar. That's what he said. Right then and there, he said the Most High was a liar. If the woman would have stayed focused, right, and just stayed on what the Most High said, because it says, and the serpent said unto the woman, you shall surely not die, she would have said, man, get out of here. I believe in the Most High Yahweh, and what Yahweh says, that's what stands. But look what happened. Given that Elohim knows that in the day that you eat from him, then your eyes will be open, and you will exist like Elohim, knowing function and dysfunction. So he told her the truth right here. See how he told a lie? Then he told the truth. That's what Hasatan does. He mixes truth and lies together to get you confused, right? Now, as we see, he told her, if you eat from this, your eyes will be open, and you will exist like an Elohim, knowing what? The function of good, which is good, and evil, dysfunction. And the woman saw that the function of the tree is for nourishment, and that he is a yearning to the eyes. Meaning she started to desire it, right? She started to lust after of it. She started to lust after of it. Salaki, my tongue is getting tired. It happens sometimes going from English to Hebrew. What is desired, whether good or bad? See, yearning. So she desired it. She didn't care whether it was good or whether it was bad. It was a yearning to the eye, right? And the tree is a craving for making calculations, right? She wanted to be wise. It's the same thing today. Women have the yearning of the eyes, and what? They want to be wise. They want to be at the top, right? It's the same thing today. Nothing has changed. This is why the Bible says there's nothing new under the sun. Nothing has changed, right? Making calculations. And she took from his produce and she ate right there. Went against the Most High. And she gave also to her man with her, and he ate when he was supposed to be protected. The same thing we supposed to be doing today as men of your household. You're supposed to be protecting your wife and your kids from the evil that's within the world. It's the same thing today. It's the same thing today. Think of the garden as your home. Some people even have fences around their house, in the front yard and the backyard, right? When you put a fence up or you put a protection up, most people put a protection up around what? Their garden. So think of your home as the garden. Do you just let evil come through your door? Do you just let the serpent just come into your house and start dealing with your woman? Many men do. Why? Because a lot of men are not even there to protect her. A lot of men are not even there to protect the woman and the children, right? But right here, Adam, when she gave also to her man with her, he ate. He did not protect her in this moment. He failed as a man not protecting her. Because what he should have did, well, I'm not even going to say what he should have did because I wasn't there. And you know, a person can say what a person should have done, but they wasn't there. So that didn't happen. So I won't even fix my mouth to say that. But he didn't protect her. Let's just say that. Verse 7, and the eyes of the two of them were open up, and they knew that they were what? Naked. They lost the protection of the Most High, right? Without clothes, right? That's what it says about being naked. But we know that they lost the protection of the Most High. The state of mind that they were in, they didn't have this dysfunction up here. They didn't have dysfunction, and they didn't have dysfunction. They didn't have it. But now, since they ate from that, they had this functional and dysfunction because they wanted to be like Elohim. They wanted to be like the Most High. But who really did this? It was the serpent, Hasatan, because he wants to make himself like the Most High, right? So now they knew that they were naked. So the first thing came what? Shame. First thing they felt was shame. How do we know that? Because they felt they were naked, and then they went and sewed together leaves of figs, and they made for themselves loin wraps, right? And then it says, and they heard the voice of Yahweh Elohim walking himself in the garden of the wind of the day. And the human and his woman withdrew themselves from the face of Yahweh Elohim into the midst of the trees of the garden. Why did they withdraw themselves? Because they were shamed. The dysfunction that they were dealing with. As soon as they ate from that, they were dealing with dysfunction. Meaning what? Dysfunction, for what they were intended for, they were going off. And Yahweh Elohim called unto the human, and he said unto him, where are you? And he said, I heard your voice in the garden, and I feared, given that I am naked, and I withdrew. Here it comes. And he said, who told you that you were naked? Because they wasn't even supposed to know that they were naked. They didn't have that function. So the Most High said, who told you that you were naked? Then he asked them, are you eating from that tree which I directed you not to eat from? People are still eating. Listen, we are still eating from that tree of knowledge, of discernment. And you don't have the right judgment to discern, because what you think is okay is not okay. It is evil. And this is why he didn't want us to eat from this tree, because our hearts are wicked. Verse 12. And the human said to the woman, Salakia, and the human said, the woman which you placed by me, she gave to me from the tree, and I ate. And Yahweh Elohim said to the woman, what is this? What is this you did? And the woman said, the serpent have deceived me, and I ate. See? All this happened because they didn't listen to the Most High Yahweh. And it's the same thing today. All this happened. We are being deceived by the masses because we won't listen to the Most High Yahweh Elohim. We are being deceived. How we're being deceived? Because we living in sin. And then when we die, as I just showed you right here, the wages of sin is death. Let's get the other ones. Let's get the classic Hebrew, right? Hebrew 9. Let's get the classic. And then we're going to wrap it up. Listen, Hebrew 9:27. And as is it appointed unto a man once to die, but after this, the judgment, right? This is why we're being deceived. People not thinking about the judgment that's coming, living in sin. Once again, Hebrews 9:27. And as it is appointed unto a man once to die, but after this, the judgment. That's a deceivement of us today. We're not thinking about the judgment that's going to come to us after you die, of all of the sin that you have lived and did in this world, right? Just as she was deceived and she ate of that tree of knowledge, we are being deceived right now today, eating from that tree of discernment. And our discernment is off, because remember, what is discernment?
Discernment.
The definition is the ability to judge well. The ability to judge well. People are not judging well right now. It's a guy on YouTube right now. It's a Caucasian guy on YouTube that rides around on a little bike with a dog. And he goes to the park, to colleges and different things. And he asks people on his show, do you think you're a good person? And people say, yeah. They think they're a good person. Then he asked them, have you ever lied? Have you ever cheated? Have you ever stolen something? Have you had sex before marriage? Have you ever used the Most High name in vain? And they say yes to all those things. And then he says, so you a liar? You a thief? You a blasphemer? You an adulteress? Right? And then he turns around, he asks them, do you still think you're a good person? And they say, yeah. Their discernment is off. Their ability to judge well is off. So our discernment as a people, as a human race, is off. The only way you will get it back is to come to the scriptures, right? Her discernment was off. She was deceived just as we're being deceived today. Let me move forward so we can get up out of here. And Yahweh Elohim said unto the serpent, given that you did this, spit upon are you for all the beasts and from all living ones of the field, upon your belly you will walk, and dirt you will eat all the days of your life. Right? Okay, I'm going to just stop right there because you guys know the story. Right? But I just wanted to show about the discernment. I just really wanted to show about the discernment. Right? And it's still going on. Let me get some of this New Testament real quick. Right? Don't forget about this Hebrews 9:27. Let me get a little bit of New Testament, then we get out of here. Look at this. This is how we know the same thing that was going on then. Same thing going on still to this day. Even in the New Testament, when they was writing this, it was still going down. Listen this, right? Everybody know this story, right? But a certain man named Ananias and with Sapphira, his wife, sold a possession and kept back part of the price. His wife also being privy to it, and brought a certain part and laid it at the apostles' feet. But Peter said to Ananias, why have Hasatan or Satan filled thine heart to lie to the Kadash or the Ruach HaKodesh, right? Why? And keep back part of the price of the land while it remained. Was it not thy own? Question. And after it was sold, was it not thy own in thy own power? Question. Why hast thou conceived this thing in thy heart? Discernment. Right? Function, dysfunction. He went off. Thou hast not lied unto man, listen, but unto Elohim. He didn't judge well. That's what discernment is.
Discernment.
The ability to judge well. He didn't judge, Ananias didn't judge well, because he lied to who? Elohim. Peter said, you didn't lie to me. Thou hast lied unto, listen, thou hast not lied unto man, but unto Elohim. Verse 5, and Ananias hearing these words fell down and gave up the ghost. He died. And a great fear came upon, Salaki, let me slow down and calm down. I get so amped up about the word. Let me calm down. And great fear came on all them that heard these things. And the young man arose. Wound him up and carried him out and buried him. Right? And it was about the space of 3 hours after when his wife, not knowing what was done, came in. And Peter answered unto her, tell me whether ye sold the land for so much. And she said, yeah, for so much. Then Peter said unto her, how is it that ye have agreed together to tempt the Ruach of the Master, or tempt the Ruach of Yahweh, or tempt the Ruach of Yahushua, to tempt the Ruach, period. Behold, the feet of them which have buried thy husband are at the door, and shall carry thee out. Then fell she down straightway at his feet, and yielded up the ghost. And the young man came in, and found her dead, and carrying her forth, buried her by her husband. See, their judgment, their discernment was off, right? Their perception in the absence of judgment with the viewing of obtaining spiritual guidance and understanding, it was off. It was off, right? Not only Ananias and his wife was off. Let's get one more and then we'll get out of here. Paul even talks about it. Everybody love Paul. Paul even talks about it right here. Look, believers united in Hamashiach, right? Paul even talks about it right here. This is Romans 7:7. What shall we say then? Is the law sin? Elohim forbid. Nay, I had not known sin but by the law. For I had not known lust except the law had said, thou shalt not covet. But sin taking occasion by the commandment wrought in me all manner of concupiscence. For without the law, sin was dead. For I was alive without the law once. So he was alive without the law once, but when the commandment came, sin revived, and I died. And the commandment which was ordained to life, I found to be unto death. For sin, what? Taking occasion by the commandment, what? Deceived me. Even Paul was deceived. For those that like Paul, even Paul was saying, I was deceived. For sin taking occasion by the commandment deceived me, and by it slew me, meaning it was killing me, it killed me. Wherefore the law is Kadash, and the commandment Kadash, and just and good. So I'm just showing you that the discernment has to be there. You have to judge well, because even Paul said he was deceived, right? We see it right here. It could happen. So the discernment, we need the ability to judge well, right? And how did how did Paul just say, how do we do that? How do we judge well? Right? Verse 9, it says, and I'll leave off with this. Verse 9, it says, for I was alive without the law once. But when the commandment came, when the commandment came, he said, I sin revived and I died. Right? So he needed the law to see that he was being deceived by sin. So please, people, please.
Discernment.
Please use the discernment, the ability to judge well, okay? The quality of being able to grasp and comprehend what is obscure, right? Please focus on that, my people, right? Because we were led away through these things from Hasatan, from the serpent, as it says right here in verse 1, right? And the serpent had existed as subtile one more than all the living ones of the field which Yahweh Elohim had made. And he said, that's how it started. And he said to the woman, did Elohim really say you will not eat from all the trees of the garden? So with that being said, please use your discernment. And the water for tuning in. Hopefully this edifies somebody. We're going to get ready to get out of here. And we give all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High Yahweh Allah, the Allah of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Call Allah Yahweh Ba'asham Mashiach Yahushai. And with that we say, Shalawam.
People be fake, they do it for Insta. If you got sin, let it go. Ain't no more excuses from within.